So if you follow my channel, you'll know I've recently been breaking in these made in England Oxblood boots. So I've been wearing these for 2 weeks now, wearing them for the walk to work every day. So I thought it's time to just reflect on that experience. So my walk to work's about 1.5 miles either way. So over the last 2 weeks, I've probably done about 30 miles in these. I change them over to work shoes once I get to work. So just walking, little and often, and typically that's the best way to break in any boot, to be honest. So my experience with these has been very much the classic Doc Martens experience. So initially they're a little bit tough. I haven't suffered with blisters or too many rubs, but there's certainly that distinct breaking in experience that you get with Doc Martens. So for me, just moving this boot out the way here, the Doc Martens experience is a lot to do with the tongue and a lot to do with the heel. So the main thing to break in, I find, on Doc Martens boots is the tongue. So it allows you to cinch your foot back nice and tight into the heel cap there. Until you do that, you do tend to get a little bit of rubbing at the back of the heel as it moves against your body. But that's really the main part of this to break in. The last on these is relatively narrow. So these are a tighter fit than the non-made in England boots. Certainly the Thailand boots I've become familiar with do have a wider last, and this is another part of the boot which has taken a little while to break in. If you take a look at this Doc Martens hard life boot, you probably can't make it out, but the toe box on this is much more generous. So my experiences with this, the hard life boot, the 4Life boots before that, they've definitely got a more generous forefoot, and that does make breaking in a little bit easier. But going back to the overall experience with the Made in Englands, very much the Doc Martens break-in, very much the Doc Martens wearing experience, although actually I found this sole to be slightly more flexible and easy wearing, a little bit more bouncy, quite a nice sole really in that respect. But yeah, breaking in the forefoot, cinching back to the heel, and after 2 weeks I'd say that generally these are substantially broken in. There's a little bit of bite still going on at the rear there, but that's just a matter of time. But these are now in a state where I could wear them all day long without any real pain. So that's a breaking in experience. The leather is absolutely superb, really like leather, really nice grain on the insides here. That is really one of the strong points of this boot, and I did think it would be looking at it. It's distinctly better leather than you find on the outsourced boots, certainly on their classic boots. This is a step above. This is their Quillian leather. Now the thing which really lets these boots down, and if you followed any of my reviews, you'll know that I've got issues with the longevity of Doc Martens soles. These soles even more so. I have actually got patches where it's worn flat in the forefoot here after only, as I say, 2 weeks wear. Both boots will come in for a few close-ups so you can see actually how this has come about. But after just 5 days, when I was first giving them a little bit of treatment with the Wonderballs and just to give them a little bit of conditioning, I noticed that what was happening with these soles is not only is the leather, the rubber relatively soft compound, but also the thickness of these treads is so narrow, I think notably more narrow than the outsourced boots, that you can almost actually kick off the tread. They're almost splitting away from the sole. So that's a real worry on these actually, because we've got a smooth part there. Hopefully the rest of the sole will slow down now that we've got a sort of flat spot which I'll be walking on. But that was slightly surprising. That was different to what I've experienced with other Doc Martens boots, and actually I was hoping for a bit more longevity with this to be honest, a premium boot from the Made in England range. The soles also are the source of some other quality control concerns. The slight wobble to the sides where it's been shaped by hand. Certainly on this boot here, there's a distinct wobble down the side, and on both boots that they're slightly undercut. So I'd have liked that to be nice and flush down the side, but they're slightly undercut. Practically, probably won't make any difference at all, but as I say, slight quality control concerns. So that's kind of about it in terms of the breaking in and experience I've had so far with them. We'll come in for some close-ups in a minute. In terms of sizing, Doc Martens do not offer half sizes in these boots. I've always been going for 8s in the Doc Martens, and with a little bit of breaking in, these are fine at 8. If you do have a slightly wider foot, or you are always on the cusp of finding the Thai-made boots to be tight, you might want to size up. But for me, I think I've quite enjoyed breaking these in. These will be very much my boots by the end of it. They will fit my feet very well, and soles permitting, I hope these will give a long lifespan for my use. So let's just dive in for some close-ups, look at the details, and then we'll wrap this up. The leather on these is, in all honesty, looking really good. A couple of creases as you'd expect as you break in the toe box there. A few little pinches, but nothing of note on the toes. As I say, a narrower last than you might find on some of the boots that Doc Marten outsource, but break in just fine at a true to size 8 for me. Nice grain to the leather. On the heel, the inside of the heel cap is where another sort of pressure point or friction point for your foot will be found. That does take a bit of time to break in nicely, but the edge of the heel cap does seem to be part of the main issues on break-in. The initial experience with the tongue, you've just got to break that down and get that tight back against your foot. Just lock your foot in there and stop the up and down rub on the heel there. Everything's looking pretty good. These laces are a little bit soft. I do wonder how long these are going to last. I've had some bad experiences with the laces on the 4Life boots over the years, but we'll see how these go. The real issues, as I say, are on these soles. So here you'll see this is now worn completely flat. The way the soles have broken down is unusual. It's sort of bits are chipping off, some are wearing off, but the actual sort of thickness of the treads side to side are different to the treads you see there on the outsource boot, which do wear quickly, but I think they hold up better than this, which is slightly disappointing for their premium line. I know this is a different sole. I had expected this to be a little bit better. A little bit of wobbly QC there. I've mentioned it before, but that's a bit disappointing. And the way the sides are cut, it's slightly undercut there, which doesn't quite look right to me. But yeah, very much a handmade built boot, and yeah, I think, to be fair, a premium product, but the sole hasn't quite held up as well as I'd hoped. Stitching all looks good, no other problems. Okay, well, I hope that was useful. As I say, really great leather, really appreciate this, the Quillian leather. I think this is a step up from the other Doc Martens you might find. I do have concerns about the soles, but we'll see how that goes along over time. I will be doing a follow-up review of this boot after about 6 months. If you follow my channel, you'll know that this is actually part of a series of videos where I'm going to be comparing these boots with the Soul of Air Made in England boots, which internet debate, internet opinion suggests to be a step up from the Doc Martens. So I'll be doing a follow-up video from this later on this week, comparing them side by side. So if you want to see how they're faring under the same conditions, so both boots are now broken in, both have had 30 miles of walking on them, and I have got an opinion on these boots currently, which boots offer better value, and I'll share that with you in a following video. But if you want to get that, please subscribe. Also, we're about to hit 10,000 subscribers, so this would be a very good time to subscribe. If you've been following these videos but haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and click the little bell, follow along. I will be doing a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. I'll post a separate video on that, but as I say, I'd love you to subscribe anyhow. Check out my channel if you haven't seen it before. Boots, denim, everyday carry, fountain pens, pen knives, that sort of stuff, cycling, guitar. I like to share my interests, so please check out share some other common interests. Yeah, I hope that's useful. Thank you very much. Bye bye.